Hey everybody, it's Art from the band Everclear. You need to stay tuned to Backstage Access where the real show begins. Fatherland, tell me where have you been? Hi, Chris.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful today. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for taking the time to join us at BackstageAxxess.com.
Well, thanks for asking me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So this is another super busy year for you. Do you ever slow down? Are you planning on it at some point?
Some point, not right now. I'm trying to just, as long as I got the energy to do this, I want to do this as long as I can. I love playing music live. I love touring. I don't so much love being away from my family and flying and the buses and all that stuff. But that hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes I'm on stage every night is the payoff, and just seeing how it affects people in a positive way. I realized a long time ago I have a life that not a lot of people get to have. I'm living the dream every day. So
Well, we're
yeah.
glad you're out there doing it still, that's for sure. So
Thanks, Chris.
last year you had the 30th anniversary, so that was a huge
Right.
deal. And this year you've got a lot of stuff going on too. You've got the live album and a couple new songs and the tour. But I wanted to start with Sing Away because you watch the video and as a parent, oh my God, it's just gut wrenching. But it's such an important topic. So tell us a little bit about the song, your decision to put it on the album, and kind of your approach to it because it's such a sensitive topic.
Well, thank you for asking. So, um, it's as you said before, it's part of our live album, Live at the Whiskey a Go Go. Um, Last year was our 30th anniversary. We ended the year with a show at the Whiskey a Go Go, which we in Hollywood that we recorded, and it ended up making a great album. But there's 15 live tracks on there, but there's also two studio tracks. One song that we recorded last year called "Year of the Tiger," more of a pop, old school Everclear pop punk type song, politically based. And then this song, we needed another song, and I had written and recorded this song "Sing Away" for my solo records, Sun Songs, that came out in 2019. But I knew then that this song should sound like an Everclear song. There's a couple songs on that record that I think Everclear will record over the years. And it just seemed like perfect timing for it. I have a teenager. She's been bullied, um, and mental health issues. A lot of kids did after COVID. Adolescents just had a miserable time during COVID. And she's tough as nails, but boy, she had a hard time with it. She's doing great now.
Good.
Um, but it was um it was just something I had friends who lost children, and I read an interview about this little boy that was 9 years old that he had to have a colostomy bag because of just genetic thing, and he got teased so badly about it that he went home and killed himself. 9. And I've had friends with uh, teenagers that have been bullied so bad that they've tried to kill themselves. And a friend of a friend, I knew the man, and I knew his wife and his son. Just a great kid. He ended up killing himself as well. So, like a lot of songs, I'll take different things that happen and I'll create a character from that. And this is from the parent's point of view. And it's just, you're a parent, and you know, it's just, if you put yourself in that place of imagining what that would be like, it's pretty scary. It's one of those things where you start thinking about it and you're like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to go there.
Absolutely.
You know, I just, God bless, but I don't want to go there. My job as a writer is to go there. And it's not always easy, but it, it is gratifying to the point that I feel like I know how I have a good idea of this much of what it's like to do that, but we don't, because we haven't lost a child. I can't imagine how people go on living after losing a child. I just don't understand it. My mom did. She lost my brother when he was 21, I was 12. Um, all of my sisters have lost sons, and mostly to drugs.
That
Um,
that's my worst nightmare. And as a parent, I think it's just incredibly difficult. And I don't know how people end up moving on from that. Um,
I don't either.
you
I
know,
don't either.
this is National Suicide Prevention Week, so it's
Mhm.
a perfect time to talk about it. And the message is so important because I think music can really help. It can heal. It's proven. It can help people heal physically, emotionally, and mentally. So, thank you for being a voice and bringing it to the attention, because I think seeing it from somebody who is a celebrity, or somebody who's um, somebody that kids look up to, the parents look up to, anybody who's bringing it to the forefront and saying, hey, this is going on, and this is something that we all need to be aware of, and we can help this. We can do something um, to stop the bullying and to help the kids.
Or at least to bring light to the situation, because bad things happen when there's no light in the shadows. Rarely does that happen when everybody's out looking at it. Um, Bullies, in almost every case, are kids that have been damaged themselves,
Right.
and people, not just kids, but people who have been damaged themselves, mistreated, abused. Um, and there's a line in there with these, you stupid broken children, you victimizing victims. You know, um, yeah. I mean, the character in the song gets angry. Well, I get enraged when I think about that. I when my daughter was first bullied by this one girl, and when she was 6, this girl and this boy, I remember walking down the schoolyard and just glaring at these kids to the point my wife's like, "You can't go to school. You can't take her to school."
I
Because
understand, though. I understand.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm a kid that grew up in a housing project. That's my triggers, man. I hit back. You look like you're gonna hit me, I'm gonna hit you first. And I'm 61 now, and I still get those triggers sometimes. But as a parent, you know, people talk, jokingly about tiger moms. What mom isn't a tiger mom if you threaten their children?
Exactly.
You know,
Yes.
my mom was this little woman, but boy, if you picked on me or her kids, she just transformed into something else. She was frightening, you know, and it, you know, I loved her for it. And it's something that I've got, and sometimes I go a little bit overboard with it. Thank God my wife is a lot smarter than I am.
Well, again, thank you for bringing that, topic to light and being a voice. But let's talk a little bit about the rest of the album, and because you said it was
Okay.
recorded during, last year's stop on the 30th anniversary tour
Hmm.
at the Whiskey. So tell us a little bit about that show. What was so special about that hometown show for you?
Well, I had never played the whiskey before, so
Okay.
we're gonna end the tour in LA. I live in LA now, and so does Freddie, and we got offers, from different clubs and theaters, and that, even though that was kind of an underplay, pretty small venue. I had never played the whiskey before, and I grew up in LA, going to the whiskey. Spent a lot of time backstage, fighting, drinking back when I was an alcoholic. I'm still an alcoholic, but 34 years sober when I wasn't in recovery. Um, so I've got a lot of history there, but I'd never played there in any band. And when they made the offer, I'm like, I want to end it there. I want to end the tour there. It's not a lot of money. Who cares? Let's do it there. And about 3 weeks before the show, got a call from a friend of mine who works for label Sunset Boulevard Records. And I knew him from when he used to work at Capitol as an A&R guy. back in the 90s. And he asked if we wanted to do a record. And I didn't want to do a studio record, but I said I'd do a live record because he suggested that at the whiskey because they were set up for recording there. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And there's been so many classic live recordings going back in the jazz age, like in the 60s. Um, so not the 60s is the jazz age, but like jazz bands and stuff like that. The whiskey's been a venue for I think 60 years, as
Wow.
long as I've been alive, maybe longer, maybe in the 50s. But yeah, so we recorded it, and usually on a live album, Chris, people will record like 3 or 4 different shows, and they'll take the best parts
Right.
from each one. Uh, I wanted this to be a one trick pony. Just this is a live show, videotape it, the whole 9 yards, um, warts and all, and and uh, and there's some warts there, but I think they add to the rowdiness and the roughness, and that it's a live situation. I think it sounds great. Jim Kaufman, who is my co-producer and engineer and mixer, um, and he does phenomenal work with a lot of people. He just hit it out of the park. I think between the two of us, we just really made this thing sound live, present. Um, you can hear everything really well, but at the same time, a few notes are off here, a few things are slow. And and then having Sing Away and Year of the Tiger, which is a studio track we did last year, I think it's a great package. And it came out last Friday, and I haven't seen a bad review yet. I'm sure there will be one, but not yet.
Not for me.
Not yet. I appreciate that.
Does knowing that you're being recorded, and that it's like you said, a one trick show, you're doing it all at one time, does it change the dynamic for the show at all, or not really?
Not really. I mean, we're pros, man. We've been playing together for a long time. But what happened that day is like Freddie's bass. Um, we had to use a chord, so I changed the tone on it because usually we use wireless stuff. My drummer couldn't, his in-ears didn't work because of frequencies there. So he had to have monitors, which limited, like it bled through everything, and my guitar player had to use monitors because his in-ears weren't working. So this all came down like about an hour before the show. So it we didn't have everything didn't go smoothly.
Right.
A little it gave us adversity, which I think adversity creates a better situation, a better end result. Um, it doesn't mean it's easier, it's usually not. But I think adversity is really important, especially for me physically. I think the adversity of touring and flying and having to walk when it's hard to walk and do all this stuff, it helps keep me going. It helps keep me mentally, you know, as far as the cutie goes. Um, I'm grateful for the adversity. I think adversity is what we need to teach our teenagers because it's hard. I've worked really hard so that my children have a better life than I had. But at the same time, without the adversity that I have, how do you get that fire in the belly? You know what I mean?
Yep.
That drive. I'm sure you've ran up with issues like that. It's
Absolutely.
you know, it's just a thing that parents have to deal with, that dichotomy. But when it came to that dichotomy helped make the record more exciting. There's that almost desperate uh intimacy, you know, and I don't know. You just I'm one of those guys, and I think our band's that kind of band that when we're backed into a corner, that's when we come alive.
Absolutely. Now, for so many people, Everclear has been the soundtrack of our youth. And now you're kind of the soundtrack of us still, but it's 30 some years later. It's like soundtrack of the middle age doesn't really sound that great, but it is what it is.
Well,
But what is it
well,
about the
sounds
band that has kept you around so long? I mean, not all these bands can be, have a 30-year career, that longevity, but also to still be relevant, putting out songs like Sing Away and even the pop song last year, Year of the Tiger, things that people still want to hear. What is it about the band that has kept you going this long?
well, I call that more pop punk than pop. And then I think maybe we'll be the soundtrack to the senior years. I mean, think about it. Where are all the old punk rockers going? All the tattooed people. We're gonna be at like rest homes and stuff like that, and they're not gonna be playing, country music and Sinatra. It's gonna be, Dead Kennedys and the Sex Pistols.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so, because I want my
yeah,
senior years to be as interesting as possible.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, I don't know. To be honest with you, Chris, I don't know what else I would do. I love doing this. This is something that I'm decent at doing. It makes a good living for my family. Um, I I just couldn't imagine doing anything else. I mean, I'm a certified life coach. I'm working on finishing my bachelor in psychology and working with people in recovery. Um, but at the same time, those are side gigs,
Yeah.
Eh, This this is this is my life's work. Everclear is my life's work. And thank you for bringing up relevance. And I think that's something that, do I want to go on and make a new record, a whole record? No. But I think doing a song or two a year and a video and just putting all my creative juice and all the band's energy into one song as opposed to one song on a record. I think it just I think it just adds a lot of um just juice to it, you know? And I think it's more exciting, to be honest with you,
Well, we
to
look forward
to
to
just
another, 30 plus years.
awesome. Well, we'll see. I doubt that.
Thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me. I appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
Best of
My
luck on the
pleasure.
tour.
Take me back to the day, yeah, when I was still going, boy, right before you went away.